Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Alfhan. I'm a student in Ambon. I'm from Asilulu. I'm from English department. So in here I will read my assignment about speech text. The title is English Speechless by Rowan Atkinson. The starting point when it comes to the consideration of any issue relating to free speech is my passionate belief that the second most precious thing in life is the right to express yourself freely. The most precious thing in life, I think, is food in your mouth, and the third most precious is a roof. Precious is a roof over your head. But a fixture in the number two slot for me is free expression, just below the need to sustain life itself. That is because I have enjoyed free expression in this country all my professional life and expect to continue to do. So I personally highly unlikely to be arrested for whatever laws exist to contain free expression because of the undoubtedly privileged position that is afforded to close of a high public profile. So my concerns are less for myself and more for those more vulnerable because of their lower profile. Like the man arrested in Oxford for calling a police horse gay, or the teenager arrested for calling the Church of Scientology a cult, or the cafe owner arrested for displaying passages from the Bible on the TV screen. When I heard of some of these more ludicrous offenses and charges, I remember that I had been here before in a fictional context. I once did a show called Not the 9 o'clock News some years ago, and we did a sketch where Graves Wright Jones played Constable Savage, a manifestly racist police officer to whom I, as his station commander, is giving a dressing down for arresting a black man on a whole string of ridiculous, trumpet on ludicrous charges. The charge for which Constable Savage arrested Mr. Wilson Kodogo of 55 Mercer Road were these: walking on the cracks in the pavement, walking in a loud shirt in a boiled up, are during the hours of darkness, and one of my favorites, walking around all over the place. He was also arrested for urinating in a public convenience and looking at me in a funny way. Who would have thought that we would end up with a law that would allow life to imitate ours so exactly? I read somewhere a defender of the status quo claiming that the fact that the gay horse case was dropped after arrested men refused to pay the fine, and the Scientology case was also dropped at some point during the court process, was proof that we are working well, ignoring the fact that the only reason this case was dropped was because of the publicity that they had attracted. The police sensed that ridicule was just around the corner and withdrew their action. But what about the thousands of other cases that did not enjoy the oxygen of publicity? That weren't quite ludicrous enough to attract media attention. Even for this action that were withdrawn, people were arrested, questioned, taken to court, and then released. That isn't a law working properly. That is consciousness of the most intimidating kind, guaranteed to have, as Lord Deere says, a chilling effect on free expression and free protest. Parliament Joint Committee on Human Rights summarized, as you may know, the arresting a professor for using threatening or abusive speech may, depending on the circumstance, be a proportionate response. We do not think that language or behaviors that is merely insulting should ever be criminalized in this way. The clear problem with the outdrawing of insult is that so many things can be interpreted as such. Criticism is easily construed as insult by certain parties. Ridicule is easily construed as insult. sarcasm, unfavorable comparison, merely stating an alternative point of view to the orthodoxy can be interpreted as insult. And because so many things can be interpreted as insult, it is hardly surprising that so many things have been. As the example I talked about earlier show, although the law under discussion has been on the statute book for over 25 years, it is indicative of a culture that has taken hold of the programmer of successive governments that, with the reasonable and well-intended ambition to contain obnoxious elements in society, has created a society of an extraordinarily authoritarian and controlling nature. It's what you might call the new intolerant, a new but intense desire to gaggle comfortable voices of this kind. I am not intolerant, say many people, say many softly spoken, highly educated, liberal-minded people. I am only intolerant of intolerance. And people tend to nod sagely and say, oh, wise word. Wise word, and yet if you think about this, the most ludicrous degree of latitude, the storm that surround Twitter and Facebook comments have raised some fascinating issues about free speech, which we haven't really yet come to terms with. Firstly, that we all have to take responsibility for what we say. It is quite a good lesson to learn. But secondly, we've learned how apparently prickly and intolerant society has become of even the mildest